Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode. In the episode The Tragic Drama, we saw the tragic side of this queued system, and even in the episode Redesign Your Life, we touched upon its absurdity again. And even in the last episode, we talked about play, an essential part of life that's forgotten. It is giving you a sense that the system won't let us be the best, right? So, in this episode, it's time to do something about all that. Of course, I cannot do that without reminding you again of the absurdity, mainly out of necessity for the context and impact of today's topic. So, again, one more example. An engineering student, after studying for 4 years to be called an engineer, still has to go through some training, let's say for 1 year, in the workplace he or she joins. And most of what they'll be trained to do will be novel or at least seems totally different than what they've been taught throughout their 4 years course of education. So, why is it that 4 years isn't enough for them to be employed or capable of doing the actual work immediately without any further training or guidance? It may be because each company has different work needs and work interfaces. But why isn't the capability to learn those systems taught by their course of education? Okay, now let's say you understood the system is messed up, but can we fix it? Ever? If I had to say a simple answer, then it would be no. Let me explain. Suppose there is a new education system brought in, which includes all the training required to be employed immediately after the education course. Then would it solve the problem? No. How is that scenario any different from what it already is? Because no matter what you do, one, no system can bring the best in all. We are all wired differently. Two, hierarchy becomes necessary when there is high supply and low demand. I mean, even though all engineering students are taught or trained with the same material, not everyone can be given the same job, because obviously the number of students graduating each year is way higher than the number of job postings available. So who gets the job then? One who is skilled with something else other than what the system has already taught. This implies that the student who makes himself valuable, not relying on the system alone, wins. Or if you're at least the best cog in the machine rather than just a cog in the machine, then maybe you will be valuable. And that isn't any different from the current scenario. After one is out of the education system, especially students who relied wholly or just on the system to upskill, employ, and enrich them, are left with devastating realization that they do not know the answers to two of the most important questions to further progress in their life. One, what am I good or great at? That is competence. Two, what do I love doing or what work feels like play to me? That is love, passion, play, flow, calling, whatever you want to call it. So it's the merge of these two that provide one with the best job for them. But how could anyone know anything about themselves when the system is designed to make identical robots rather than unique human beings? They were given no tools for self-exploration or self-discovery. Instead, were only trying to harass their own memory to impose generic data and puke the same on the answer papers. What's the use of advancement in computers? Their high-grade memory chips and processors. If a computer can know and or do the same, why train humans to do the same? Of course, everyone must know basic arithmetic and science because that contributes to the lifestyle of an individual. But beyond that, what's the use of irrelevant data ingested into the human brain? So, once we understand not only that the system is crude, but also that it's almost impossible to set it right, we can think further into acceptance, accountability, and responsibility, intent, and then into action. But acceptance, accountability, responsibility, etc., all of it are nothing but subtle layers of awareness. When there is awareness, there is acceptance, there is accountability and responsibility, intent and action, everything. If there is no intent, action, responsibility, accountability, acceptance, that means there is no awareness. It's like the snake and the rope situation again.
Suppose in the dark you touch something and you presumed it to be rope, but when there's light, you realize it to be a snake. Do you wait for your mind or heart or whatever to accept that it is a snake to act? No, you react immediately, right? Acceptance is immediate. In fact, acceptance is an unnecessary word in this process. But I'm still mentioning it because I've seen many youngsters do that. That's the same case for all these trends around self care, self acceptance, and self love. When there is self awareness, acceptance is irrelevant. Love is a natural state then. Acceptance is a word used when there is a subjective discussion, but awareness is completely objective. Something is this or that, or in between, but it is very clear. That is awareness. We have already covered this in a lot of episodes. So, regardless of whether you choose to or are focused to be in or out of the system, awareness is the key to progress and to live the life of fulfillment. Constantly seek awareness like a bug, which we already discussed. If you are suffering, that means you are not seeing something. Let that be your way of handling all life suffering. Ignorance is the cause of all suffering. And with that mindset, irrespective of your path, you'll live a fulfilled life.
I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnahibi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book, The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.